Hi, welcome to New Filmmakers Festival in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm Carolyn McDonald, and I'm here this afternoon with Jim Bernfield to talk about his film, Me to Play. Let's take a look at a clip from the film.
Me to play, 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 me to play.
Okay, Jim, so welcome. Thank you for talking to us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really am looking forward to the festival.
So tell us, how did you meet Dan and Chris, and what inspired you to make this film?
Well, it's something of a long story. I will say that the movie's about it's a love letter to New York, the love letter to New York actors, and sort of hate mail to Parkinson's disease. And I got involved in this because my father died of Parkinson's disease, and then years later, Dan was a friend of mine. He and I would go to bars and watch football together. And at one point, he turned to me in the middle of like halftime of a 49er game and said, "You know, I've got Parkinson's." And frankly, he didn't really have to tell me because I saw in him the same sort of hanging features that I witnessed in my own dad. And so when he told me that he and Chris Jones were working on this play, which they described as Beckett's metaphor for life with Parkinson's, I said I'd really love to be a part of it, and that's how this all began.
Okay, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful film. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot, and very poignant, very moving film. And so tell us about the production process, and what was it like to make the film, and how did working around their issues affect the production?
Well, their issues obviously are the production, so it affected it very profoundly. The truth is that these guys were used to, as professional actors, rehearsing, let's say 6-7 hours a day or something like that. Well, with Parkinson's and making sure the medications would sort of be kicking in at the same time, maybe they only got 2 or 3 or 4 hours of rehearsal together. But these are two professional actors who know that the show must always go on, and so they very successfully, I think, manipulated and maneuvered themselves so that they could do their best work. At the same time, I had the opportunity to follow them to doctors' offices, into their lives with their families and their loved ones, and to really chronicle to some degree exactly what it's like to be a working actor in New York, and a working actor in New York with Parkinson's disease.
Yes, of course. And tell me, did the film change? Was it the film you intended to make at the end, or did it change during the course of making the film?
That's a great question. I didn't really know what the end result would be. I knew we had a play to do, and so that was very important. But even up until the dress rehearsal, it's not clear that these two guys can actually pull off putting on this play. And so if they had not been able to do that, it would have been something of a different film. Instead, I think it gets to be a real profile and courage, sort of how can I put this? Success as a human spirit kind of a movie. And that's what we got, because these guys as human spirits really did succeed in bringing on a terrific performance of this play.
And how did your relationship with them evolve during the course of the project?
Well, I've known Dan for a long time, making, we traded scripts together. He's a working actor, and I'm a film director and writer. And so we traded work a lot, but we never really worked hand in glove together. Sometimes it was fun because we were close, and sometimes it was maybe a little tougher because we were close. I think that falling into Chris's family was also something I would have happened if I hadn't been making this movie with him. And that's in both ways has been a really terrific entree into something that I've always been involved with, which is sort of what I call the Parkinson's family. When making the movie, people would say, so what happens next? And one time I was like, well, I roll up the cable and I put I download them. They're like, no, I mean, with the disease. And sometimes I just didn't have the heart really to talk about the arc of this, but it is life-ending disease with no cure that leads to an unfortunate end of life. And so mine is now a relationship with them where I've helped them freeze a moment in time that they thought was maybe bad times, but really were some of the best times, because obviously it's years later and they're only deteriorated. And that's and my heart goes out to these families, and I'm really tight with them still. And so it's something that I am sad about seeing.
Yeah, of course. And so what ways would you say, you said you went, saw this with your father, but in making this film, you're capsulizing a story, a journey. How did that influence you as an artist and as a person capturing this specific process at this time?
Well, it affected me really profoundly because I'm watching two artists, and really more because the theater, they brought all these terrific friends who are all theater professionals to bear on this project. But watching these two guys, I really learned that every moment is really incredibly valuable, and that it's vital to really give to every moment that which it's due. And I think that's something which I learned from these guys, watching them put on sort of perhaps the last performances of their careers in ways that they felt were really important and really wanted to make sure they did really well, not just, as they say, for parky guys, but do it really well as actors. And the great part is, not to spoil the film, is they really succeed in at least proving to me that they could do it.
Amen. I agree. Yeah. And so what would you like to see audiences take away from the film viewing it?
Another great question. I would say that audiences, 60,000 people are diagnosed with Parkinson's every year, and that's a larger and larger slice of the American community, the world community. And I'd like people to understand that people who have a disabling disability might not. Let me start over again, if I could. The question was, what do I want audiences to take from this movie? I would say that what I think is most important to take away from this movie is to look around the culture and society and see there are people all through our society who may be disabled, but have a lot still to give. These guys prove that there's wonderment and amazing things to come from people who even have debilitating diseases. And if these guys can do it, then so can we.
Very, very well said. Very, very well said. So where can people follow you and follow the journey of the film?
Well, our film, obviously, we are on all those social media. If you go to Me to Play Doc, one word, at Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, we're all there. We're on, I think it's Me to Play -doc on LinkedIn. And then I am posting a lot on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and all those things as Jim Bernfield. So, and then our website is metoplay.com. So sorry, I forgot those last three letters of any website, metoplay.com. And so people can follow us throughout that. And then we're streaming on services like Apple TV and iTunes and Amazon Prime and Fandor. So people can watch this film if they don't get a chance to see it at the New Filmmakers Festival. Hopefully they can watch it, in the comfort of their own home, or tell friends and people who may not be able to get out, people with Parkinson's, for instance, to watch it in the comfort of their own homes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And it's been great talking with you. It really has been wonderful speaking with you. Film. I love the film a great deal. I think it says so much, and you're absolutely right about it being an example of triumph of the spirit, and especially with actors, because we have a tendency, audiences to think of actors as invincible, but to watch these two men in many ways be invincible, but be very vulnerable at the same time is a wonderful journey.
Well, thank you. I mean, in a documentary, you've really got to get under the sort of skin. And I think that's the thing these guys allowed me to do. I'm really pleased that they were willing to be vulnerable and take risks, and allow me to see them taking risks, and to that end, being able to show the audience that these risks are worth doing. It brings some tears to people's eyes, but it's got a lot of laughs, and I think that can make you feel good. It really is, as you said, a triumph for the human spirit. So I also thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. You're welcome.